So a little news coming out of Sixers Nation today. Last video I did, I don't know if you guys remember me talking about it, but we've been wondering, where's Jahlil been? Where is Okafor at? Why hasn't he gotten any minutes? Why haven't we seen him? The only game he has been in was against Toronto when we were getting blown out. So what's been going on? So apparently it's been the coach's decisions for him to be DNP almost every game out of the season. So why is this? If we're trying to, trade Okafor and get rid of him, I thought maybe he'd be part of the process. He's slimmed down. He's changed his look. He lost 20 to 30 pounds. He's looked like a new and improved guy. But news is that Okafor's still on the trading block. And it's on both sides. He wants to get out of here, obviously. He said at the beginning of the season, even after he slimmed down, he doesn't feel like he's a part of this organization. He's ready to move on. And Coach Brown has even come out and said that he's not willing to start Ja at all. He's going to go with Amir as the backup center, regardless. He says he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got a good spirit, and they talk a lot after practice, as a direct quote from Brett Brown. But it's a shame because I feel like Ja finally bought into the system this year. He slimmed down. He looked like a whole new Ja. And it's a shame he's not going to be getting any minutes because I feel like he could benefit it. But I feel like what's really hurting him is he's so bad defensively, and the way he scores the basket is not beneficial to his game in the NBA nowadays. It's too much ISO ball for him. He actually was on 20% of his possessions. It was all ISO ball, and that was 8th highest in the league last year and first out of all big men. So that really hurts him a lot. And last year when he was on the floor, the Sixers allowed 110 points per 100 possessions. When he was off the floor, it was down to 104. But the one game he did play in, I didn't think he played bad. He had 10 points, 9 boards, 2 blocks, surprisingly. I just feel like he deserves to get at least some minutes on the Sixers squad, especially if you guys been watching, this early in the season. Amir, Amir's whatever. You know what you're going to get out of him. He's nothing special. He's basically like your road grader type of guy. He's going to go out there. He's going to bully people. He's going to be your hard fouler. He's like your Charles Oakley of back in the day. He's going to give you hard fouls. He's not going to score on his own. He's going to get easy buckets, putbacks, alley-oops, stuff like that. Nothing too special. He can't create for himself. He's an okay defender. But, if you want to really sit there and call out Ja for not being able to play defense, well, Amir Johnson can't play offense. So I feel like those two kind of balance it out. But for him to just be able to get a shot, if you're looking to trade Okafor, you got to put him out on the floor. If you want to increase his trade value, you have to see what he has, especially the new and improved Okafor. We already know what the old Okafor could do, and it wasn't much. He was this big, oafish, slow guy, couldn't play defense, couldn't really rebound even, couldn't defensive rebound, couldn't offensive rebound, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't keep up with the up pace tempo. This guy's a little different, and that brought no trade value with the old Ja. So I don't know why you think just because he shed some weight that all of a sudden people are going to be ringing the phones off the hook to get Jahlil Okafor on their team. You have to play him in order for him to be traded to have some trade value. I don't know if this is coming from upstairs, from the Sixers brass, if this is a coach's decision. I don't know, but I think it's silly to just leave him on the bench and not give him any minutes, to continually give minutes to Justin Anderson and, TLC even. If you really want to get this guy out of town and get something for him, you've got to play him. And we were wondering, as I talked about in my last video, where his job been? And now we know. And I just saw again today that they say he's got an illness. They can keep trying to twist it and spin it and say whatever they want. I don't believe anything Brian Colangelo says at all. So I think they're just trying to put a spin on it to why he's not playing, saying he's sick, saying he's this, kind of saying he's that, kind of like Ben Simmons last year. Basically the same thing they did with Joel Embiid. We really don't know what was going on. They're shysters. He doesn't let out too much, and then he puts a spin on stuff. So I don't trust Brian Colangelo, as far as I can throw him. So who knows what's really going on with Ja? Is he sick? No. But we got to get him out on the floor. He deserves some minutes. I think he could really help this team in situations like, going down the stretch in last game. He could have helped us offensively. He could have done something. But you got to get the guy out on the court to increase his trade value. I don't want to keep reiterating this. I feel like it's common sense. I feel bad for the guy. He was a number 3 overall pick, so he's no slouch. His career numbers aren't bad. He's 14 points, 6 rebounds, 1.1 blocks on 51% shooting. So it's not like he's so slouched. He would be very, a good player on a decent team. He's not going to be a superstar. He's not going to wow you with his athleticism, even though he did shed some weight. But he's got a pep in his step even now. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and I don't blame him. That's going to drive some guys to really want to make it in this league. And I think he could be a viable option somewhere else. He doesn't fit in our system, but you don't know until you play the kid. Just get him out there, Brett. This has got to be coming from upstairs. So I want him to try to stick up for his players. Brett should stick up, go up to the Colangelos or whoever's telling him that he's DMP for all these games, and get him out there. So if you think you just by riding the bench and riding some fine that Jahlil Okafor is just going to magically get you some trade value, it's not going to happen. And he's his 4th-year option's coming up for $6 million. Are the Sixers going to pick it up? They likely said they would. I don't know if that's more BS. I don't know if that's more Colangelo putting a spin on things. But time will tell to see what happens. Like I said, he would be a viable option somewhere else. Secondary, third scorer on another team, on a good team. Like I said, is he going to be a star? No. And could it be a decent option somewhere? Yeah. But you got to play him. And what do you guys feel? Do you feel like Okafor's really getting a fair share? I mean, he obviously, like I said at the beginning of the season, feel like he doesn't fit in with this organization. He's not in their thoughts moving forward. He doesn't feel like he's a part of the process. And I don't blame him for everything that's happened so far. It kind of sucks for Ja. They don't need lunch pail guys. Guys do the dirty work. Well, we have guys like that. Amir Johnson. Rashawn Holmes is one of those guys. But this is the new and improved Ja. And what I've seen in him in preseason, what little time we've seen him play, he's looked a lot better. He's improved from the old Ja. Like I said, he had more lift. Yeah, he's that ISO scorer down on the block, but so what? That's what we really want out of Embiid this year. Exactly, he did look good in preseason. Yeah, Holmes is sorely missed, but give credit to Ja. He did have 2 blocks during the Raptors game. Get him out there. We got to get this kid some minutes to get him out of here and get a piece moving forward. Or just, if you keep saying he's a part, if he's going to be a part of this process, then get him out there. Include him in the games. For him to be DMP for 4 out of the 5 games, that's asinine. It's ridiculous. The kid was a number 3 overall pick for a reason. What do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like he's part of the process moving forward, or do you think Brian Colangelo is a part of this? Do you think Brett Brown has done this to Ja to jettison him? I mean, I don't know. I just don't get what their thought process is here. Like, he looked good in preseason. He looked lighter on his feet. He didn't fit. He's an archaic player in a new age of basketball. Post players really don't exist in this day and age anymore. It's all, run and gun and shooting behind the 3-point line. You've got 6'10" and 7-foot guys handling the ball like guards. They're basically point guards in this new positionless NBA. I know Eric hates that when I say it, but it's true. I feel like there is no positions in the NBA anymore. You've got big guys doing what guards do, and you got guards doing what big guys do. Would you trade Ja and TLC for Bledsoe? I was talking with Eric, one of our subscribers, about this. I don't know where Bledsoe is going to fit on this team. And Sean, I'll get to you in a minute if you could put your question up again. But I don't know where Bledsoe is going to fit in on this team. I feel like he wants to be a starter. He's not happy out there in Phoenix. What is he going to do? Is he going to come in and be that veteran, be that leadership guy, come off the bench, help the second unit? Because I don't see him being that guy. I don't know if you try to acquire him, and the Suns aren't just going to take trash. So they want a great young player moving forward. They said that, and they want at least a decent pick, I saw. So they're basically going to try to trade rape somebody. And I'm not all for it. I've been a big fan of Bledsoe. I've talked with Adrian about this before. I do like Bledsoe. I would have liked him on this team prior to us getting, Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz. I just don't think he fits well on this team anymore. You can't have him come in and play with Ben Simmons, I don't think. I feel like he's got to have the ball in his hands to be effective. He's just like a smaller Fultz who, is a streaky shooter. He's deadly when he goes to the 10. He's got a decent handle. But I feel like he hurts you defensively, and he needs the ball in his hands to be effective. He's not really a two-guard. He's a true point. And I don't see him coming in here and leading the second unit. I feel like his ego's too big for that. He wants to get out of Phoenix again. I don't see it's a great situation. So if we can somehow acquire Bledsoe for Okafor and TLC, fine, let's get it done. If it's just to get Ja out of here and we can find a trade partner, and if that's what it takes, then I'm all for it. I just don't see how Bledsoe fits well on this team. Or what we can even really get for Jahlil at this point. From what little body of work you've seen him do so far, from, previous seasons, when he had all the weight on him and he played like zero defense and couldn't rebound a lick, I'm not even giving a second-round pickup for him. I'm sorry, Sean, I missed your question. Could you send it again? Sorry, they don't they don't last too long up there. They're in and out. Anybody else have any other questions, comments, concerns? I mean, it's just, I agree, people need to be harder on Brett Brown. Rather try after a guy like Bertans from the Spurs. Yeah, he's a nice shooter. He's a good wing. I wouldn't mind having him on the team. I feel like we definitely need to surround Ben and Embiid with more shooters. You can never have too many shooters. And more consistent knockdown guys. I mean, we got J.J. Redick. He's a pretty consistent shooter. Covington's been streaky, but so far so good. He hasn't been the streaky Covington. Sean, I'll do another show about the Phillies. Brett Brown failed, particularly at the end of the Raptors game. That was due to coaching more than the two players. Yeah, no, Brett Brown has a lot to do with what happens this season. No doubt about it. There's been a lot of coaching miscues. And just like the rookies are going to have growing pains, so is Brett Brown. He's really, he has been a coach for 4 or 5 years so far, but it's still going to have some growing pains because prior to this, he really never had any NBA talent. Now that he does, people are going to expect him to produce instantly, and it's not going to happen. Team chemistry. I think if we miss a playoff, he gets fired. That could be true. I still feel like Colangelo wants to rid everything that was hinky, and Brett Brown, unfortunately, falls under that bill. So he could be on the hot seat come December, January, if we are not in a playoff hunt. Has Brown ever explained not using Embiid down low against Boston? I haven't seen anything. I usually don't watch the press conferences, Sean, so I don't really know. Because I'm down at the games. So I've got like an hour drive after the game, so I don't get to catch the press conferences, and I never rewatch them. So I'm not sure. I'm sure people have asked him about that question. It's on everybody's mind. Why isn't Embiid getting the ball in the post more, and why aren't they getting to the line more? That's definitely something that's going to have to be talked about and coached and reiterated over and over again. I know he says the same thing over and over, kind of like Andy did. Really, if we can somehow get Sonny Silva back, who's a really consistent shooter, fits amazing with Embiid. Hey, Illy was great when he was here. I hated the trade when it happened initially, but it worked out well, and that's what you have to have with Embiid. You have to have a stretch four. Definitely. Hey, getting Son back, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't mind it at all. And he's a veteran. Another veteran presence would be great here. You got to get more shooters on the team, though. Just having Covington and JJ, it's not enough. Stauskas is inconsistent. TJ can't really shoot, and neither can, oh God, what's his name? Justin Anderson. Very inconsistent, streaky shooter. I wouldn't even call him a streaky shooter. He can't really even shoot. He's a guy that's really going to cut into the lanes and play some hard defense. Your bruiser type, kind of like Amir Johnson is. And Dario, we got to get Dario some more minutes too, man. And I feel like I wish we could shut him down from playing over the summer after the NBA season, because I think it's starting to catch up with him finally. Do you really think they need to abandon the one-dimensional three-point shooting half-court offense? Yeah, I do. And Covington has a lot to do with that. I feel like we have so much of a stale offense to where we just kick it out once and he shoots it instantly. We have to have more ball movement. You've seen some games where they've had 25 to 30 assists. They look great. They look like the Warriors even. I mean, the ball's moving all around. The defense is getting worn out. And we're knocking down our shots. That's how you're supposed to play basketball. That's Spurs basketball right there. But then, you'll have a game where they have 25 to 30 assists, and then the next game they just look atrocious. It's one pass, throw up a contested three. Amir Johnson missed a damn dunk right underneath the rim. I know I was there. I was right under that basket. That's where I sit. It was atrocious. Luckily, he got it back and really put it in. But I was talking about this with a couple of friends and a few subscribers the other day. Did you guys realize that nobody really dunks anymore? They always want to go for the easy layup. Like, it's so much easier, I feel like, to just dunk the ball. And at least it goes in. But Amir Johnson is if he can't even dunk the ball, then he's kind of pointless to even have out there. But I feel like he was a good sign. He's a good, gritty vet who's going to do the dirty work for you. Hard fouls, get the rebounds. He's not the greatest defensive center, but he's okay. But he should be splitting time with Ja, in my opinion. Aggressive and dunk the ball. Right? That's what I'm talking about, James. They need to dunk the ball. It drives me insane when I see them go up for an easy layup, and they get blocked half the time. Now, if you were going up for a dunk, I feel like you'd have a better percentage. Didn't TJ McConnell get that ball back from him? Well, it's about time. He definitely needs playing time in another team. He really does. The kid needs to be traded and get some playing time somewhere. He kind of rotted away, and his rookie year he looked good, but he wasn't on a great team. So I feel like he looked better than he was, but his time has gone down consistently. I think a lot of players might be drilling layouts because of their knees. That could be. And one person who needs to dunk more is Ben. Ben needs to be so much more aggressive on the offensive end. And I'm hoping training with LeBron, which this should happen, he gets that killer mentality. But LeBron doesn't really have that sometimes. Sometimes he's more passive and just likes to kick the ball out. If you want to be the main guy on your team and take over a game and be, the point and illustrate the offense, you got to take over the game, Ben. You got to be more aggressive. I know he's still young, but that will come in time, I hope. I hope that aggression really comes in and he takes over, because he can take it to the tin with no problem every time. Ben can work in some shots more. Right, because if they're just going to start doubling him and blocking to the lane, what's he going to do? His first thought, he's going to kick it out. No, if he can develop a shot to go along, his ability to get to the tin, I mean, he's going to be, I'm not going to say unstoppable, but he's going to be close to unstoppable. And LeBron James developed a shot over time, too. He was exactly the same. This is just like the beginning of last year when we were really having trouble closing out games. I know. We were in so many games last season, and we just blew it at the end. Having an 8-point lead with a minute and, 30 seconds left? You figured you'd shut that out, and that's a win for us. But it wasn't. And you could blame it on, that's typical Philly. No, it's a young team that's going to need to learn how to close out games. And that's why we brought veterans in. You saw it with Minnesota last season. They couldn't shut out games either. They were a young team. They brought in some savvy vets. And they're playing a lot better now. They brought in, their vets are a little bit more superior than our vets. But in time, this team's it's going to take time to gel. You need chemistry. Doesn't matter. You can have all the talent, on paper in the world. Doesn't matter. It all needs to come down to chemistry and consistency. And it's going to take about 20 to 15 games for this to happen. It's not going to happen right off the bat, the snap of your finger, even though we all want it to. I think we'll do the same thing Minnesota did next season. Yeah, I think we're going to make huge strides. And there's no reason everybody should be throwing up red flags and jumping ship. We're 1-5? 1-4? Like, come on. It's so early in the season. We're 1-4, I'm sorry. We played 5 games. It's ridiculous. But then we started to become clutch around December and started to come back a lot of games. Yeah, and that comes with, consistency, chemistry, and in time. If we're still doing this type of stuff in December and January, then there's a concern. Then we really have to look at what we have to do for the future. Is it Brett Brown? Do we have to bring in other vets? Do we need to bring other players? So on and so forth. That is when you start to have the alarm goes off and like, what are we going to do? But still way too early to be jumping ship. For us to be even close with the Rockets, to take them all the way down to the buzzer, should say something about how special this team can be. I'm excited for Bolden next season. He would be another element to this team who can handle the ball, play great defense. You would really be in a worry about who's going to take the backup position after Embiid goes out, because it would be Bolden. The guy can play great defense. He's lanky. He can cover the court end to end, and he can shoot. So he's the best of both worlds on the offensive and defensive end. If he was on this team now, I feel like he would have no problem. He would transition just fine. Markelle playing tonight? No, he's out again tonight, James. Embiid needs time too, James. He's still not 100%. He still really needs to get back. His stamina, he's really not in playing shape yet, and you can see that. He looks exhausted throughout the game, and he really needs to stop doing the ISO stuff too. Not so much ISO when he's trying to be like a wing or a guard and dribble through his legs and spin around people. I mean, it looks cool if he can get it done and be on Sports Center top 10, but he turns the ball over too many times when he's doing that. Just turn your back to the basket, back the dudes down, and overpower them. You're huge. Look at Shaq. Shaq had no problem doing it. That's the type of player Embiid is. And I mean dominant that way, to where he's so dominant in the post that nobody could really stop him. And that's going to cause double teams and cause players to be open around the three-point line to hit wide-open shots. But our guys need to hit wide-open shots. Jared Bayless, scrub. See what Minnesota did? They brought in players like Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson. We need to bring in caliber players like that, not like Jared Bayless. But we need more shooting on this team for sure. You think Dario can become a good three-point shooter in the future? Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think he can. Look how great he looked last year when he was really the only, viable option on offense. He looked fantastic, but I think playing all this basketball over the last 3 years has really caught up with him. I would really wish he would stop playing when he went back home, and playing in the what is it, the Turkish Croatian League, whatever it is, because you're adding a lot of tread onto his tires, and it's affecting him, I feel. And I think that's why he's not playing as many minutes in the beginning of the season, because of all the basketball he's played over the past few seasons. Yeah, that's fatigue. It's from playing, basketball for 3 straight years. So that's why that's why Dario looks a little exhausted on his shots, where it's not really just given enough oomph to get it to the basket. Any other questions, guys? I'm gonna shut it down here, but yeah, just wanted to do a quick video. And I'm hoping after this game, maybe come November, something changes with Ja. Either he gets on the floor and gets some minutes, or he gets traded. But he's not going to be of much trade value if he doesn't play. Hear that out, Colangelo, Brett Brown, or whoever's pulling the strings on this deal. It's ridiculous. Get the kid out there. I like JJ, James. I really do like JJ. I thought he was a great signing. I didn't care they paid him $25 million. We had money to spend. We had to reach the cap floor. So I think he's been consistent this year. Yeah, has he missed some open shots? Yeah, but that comes along with being a shooter. Sometimes they go down, sometimes they don't. You live and die by the shot. He's not a caliber of Steph Curry, but he even misses sometimes. He's got some off nights too. Roka has been really Good so far. Roko's looked very, very good. You know, we know he has it defensively, but his shot looks, you know, looks like he's tweaked it a bit this year because they're going down a lot more consistently. And I hope he can keep that up. I don't know if that's because of JJ. I don't know if that's more time spent in the gym. Whatever it is. I don't know if it's Gatorade he's drinking. Whatever, or some superstition he has. Whatever it is, continue to do it, Roko, because it's working for you. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. I didn't realize I did this for 25 minutes. I got to do another 25. That contract number is going up each game. Yeah, it is. But they said they're gonna pick it up. They you know, if that's what is that what you're talking about, James? Or Philly? All right, guys. Like I said, 25 minutes. You have any more comments, just leave them in the comments section. It's good talking to you guys. This is Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds. Yeah, Jahlil Okafor wants to get out of Philly. No surprise by that, but ain't going to happen if he's not on the court. Get this man some time. All right, go Sixers. Peace.